Who would have thought that it would come so quickly, that we're in a situation where a lot of us are getting decisions in, and we're right round the corner from the majority of us having our US decisions in fact, well, all of us for the 1st of April. Lots of students are getting all 5 UCAS offers in at the moment. There are still quite a few still that are still waiting. For you guys, please remember to be patient and hold on and make decisions when you have got as many offers in as possible. This session is really about mid-March senior year items to know, things that you need to know at this stage in the year. We're going to start in a second with an alumni QR code scan. Those of you that were in the theatre with me last week or the week before, the AP and high school diploma students, you guys will see that later on in the second part of this presentation, we'll be going through the What Now presentation that we went through with you guys. Some of the IB students were in exams at the time, so they weren't able to catch that really important session. So once we go to the What Now session, the AP students, high school diploma students will have a chance to get some items done. And that is scan the alumni QR code, sign up and create a profile in full. And then doing the Bridge U update. Instead of seeing a repeated presentation, you can be getting on with tasks. All IB students, I will want you to be watching intently all the information in the What Now presentation. First thing is first. It's very, very simple. However, it's something that doesn't always get done by all students. Make sure when you find that you have decisions coming through that you actually update Bridge U. We need to know where you are going, and the best way for us to do that is to get your updates in Bridge U. So do please, it's very simple, look on the right hand side there, do please update it. Let us know if you're successful or not to each of the universities that you've applied to. If you've been accepted, click on accept. It's very simple. If you plan to go to a particular university, click on attending there as well. It's really simple. Please do this. Also, what will be coming up after this presentation on the 19th of April, you will get further information about what to do when you get your results through. And that will include the academic office, Miss Briggs, IB and AP coordinators, as well as college counsellors, okay? Very important webinar to watch. It's one for yourselves and for your parents on the 19th of April. Be aware that this is essential viewing. When you get your results in, you will then be able to make sure that you know your next steps if you've watched this presentation. This is the ACS community piece. Our ACS community family is a unique and supportive network spanning the globe, and becoming part of the community provides you with opportunities to support you in your next steps from ACS, as well as your future ambitions. All you need to do is join the Global Alumni Network, scan the QR code and complete the details. By doing so, you'll have access to a network of ACS alumni made of 26,000 former students, parents and staff from more than 100 countries. It helps you keep up to date with the latest school and alumni news, helps you develop new relationships and networks, personally and professionally. You can find out about career and mentor opportunities, join alumni events around the world, sign up so we know where you are, and then we can put you in touch in the future with other students that are going through exactly what you're going through right now in your university searches, as well as that transition into university too. So here is that What Now presentation. If you are an AP student that saw this, fantastic. You can keep half an eye on this while getting on with the other tasks. If you're an IB student, please focus fully on this. Show the respect to your peers that they are having to listen if you do not need to fully focus on this. So, the big message for you to do right now is to make sure that you are regularly keeping an eye on your emails. Spam. Check your spam box regularly. Unfortunately, you are in a waiting game if you haven't had all of your decisions through. Some people are lucky enough to have them through. But if you haven't had them through, please continue to look. If you've had your offers come through and you're a little bit clearer about what you are doing, you still do need to look at those emails, because there will be information from your universities coming out to you to let you know what to do in various things such as portals and accommodation, deposits, and other information like this. If you do get certain decisions coming through, please make sure you share them with your college counsellor. We would love to know what's happening with you, so please do share it with us. And again, a reminder, update your Bridgeu as you go. While you're making a decision, I want you to bear two research pieces in mind. So tracking the decision making of higher achieving higher education applicants report from the Department for Business, Innovation and Skills. This is what they found from their study. Higher achievers applying to the most selective universities exhibited a tendency to base their decisions on social indications of prestige and academic excellence, and displayed a stronger sense of self-efficacy. Their decisions were strongly influenced by league tables and perceived academic reputation. For them, the importance of the course and course content was more closely related to the institution that they'll be studying in, rather than the practical application of their education following graduation. So what does this mean? It means that students are going for the name, looking at rankings, branding too much. Students are choosing courses related to getting into the brand universities and not choosing with their career goals or development of skills in mind. This is from the Institute for Fiscal Studies. Graduates in England with a first class or a 2-1 degree had higher earnings by age 30 than those who finished with a 2-2 or a third, regardless of institution, meaning that the degree class was often more important than the institutional reputation of the place. So we can see a bit of discord here. We can see that students are going for perceived social institutional reputation over where they think they're going to be more successful, and employers are looking for students that have got higher grades and more skills developed in from their degree. So ask yourself, where are you more likely to be successful when you're making decisions? Because that's going to be more important than the name of a university. You guys are making decisions. When making your decision, I want you to consider the entire student experience. Don't place everything on what other people are doing or where your friends are going or rankings or branding. Do remember that this is your choice. Be informed. Make sure you visit, get a feel for the place, get to learn as much as you can about the institution and the opportunities that you have there. Again, it's still part of the same thing we've been saying since grade 11, near the beginning. Be informed and know as much as you can. There's no such thing as too much information. Look back at your priorities. Do you remember those things? We did say that they were important. What are your priorities from the experience of you going to university? What's most important to you to get out of the experience? So when you were researching universities, we went through priorities, and it's also still in that Schoology pages under the grade 11 page. Think to yourself, are my priorities being met? That's the question you need to ask yourself. What were my priorities and are they being met? Ultimately, remember, you'll be more successful after university if you engage and get involved and develop your skill set during your degree. These are those priorities that I was talking about. And then let that help guide you. Now, when making a decision, here's one way you could go about it. Not saying it's the only way, but it is a way that you could consider. Being a little bit more objective about your decision making. For example, if you were to make some kind of decision matrix, that way you wouldn't just be making decisions based on emotion or hearsay. So, how to make something like this, a decision matrix, including maybe a weighted scoring system, can be found at that top right link of this slide here. So if you go to that link at the top right, you'll learn how to step by step go through and make a decision matrix. and each step is there in green below the heading. Do you think of the idea of trade-offs? There's going to be no one perfect place for all students. So do think to yourself, if one thing isn't great, is that something you can live with? Is it still meeting my priorities? As well as thinking about cost as well.
So for the UK, let's talk a little bit about what happens next. Now, I know many of you are still waiting on decisions, and trust me, no news at the moment is good news. Universities are holding on to your applications because they are looking for reasons to admit you. Right? It's not the default position for universities to want to deny everyone. They're looking for reasons to admit you in context for the overall applicant pool that they have received this year. So you're still in the game if you haven't heard anything. No news is good news. If they didn't think that you were academically admissible in any way, they would have already offered an unsuccessful decision. And some of you have unfortunately received those unsuccessful decisions. But if you have yet to hear, you will do soon, and you will do before the 18th of May. So let's get into some of the things that's going to happen over the course of the next couple of months. But broadly, this is kind of what your UCAS track will look like. You'll have sent your application, you're still waiting for some decisions, and when you get all 5 decisions, you will get this big purple button where you can you view all of your offers. Once you have made a choice, it will move into the waiting for confirmation stage, which is something that will happen after AP and IB results. But here's the thing, really important dates. Universities have until the 18th of May to make these decisions, all right? So they've got another couple of months yet, guys, waiting. I'm sorry, I know it. I wonder also why they take so long, but that's just the run-of-the-mill here and how it works. But you will have until the 8th of June to make what we call a firm choice, the place that you really want to go if you meet the conditions, and an insurance choice, your backup option. All right, and you'll have until the 8th of June to do that. Those of you who receive all 5 decisions can do that from now. If you want. I'm not saying that you need to, but you're not going to lose this offer. You're not going to lose these choices until the 8th of June. So you have that until that long. You can see how your exams go, see how you feel. If you feel like you smashed them, great. Go for that big aspirational firm choice. If you feel that maybe you didn't do so well on 1 or 2, maybe it's good to ensure that your insurance choice is more conservative. Okay? So you have until the 8th of June to make this firm and insurance choice. Okay, you have, I'll talk a bit more about those later, you have obviously unconditional offers, and then obviously some unsuccessful decisions as well. If you've got an unconditional offer, you're in. There are a couple of them that have gone out there, but most of you have these conditional offers, where there is a US high school diploma and GPA requirement, or a specific IB and AP scores. Potentially for some of you, IELTS testing is an expectation as well, and you have until the end of August to meet these expectations. It's important to read each individual offer carefully, because some might be at the end of July. So you have plenty of time to meet these conditions. All right. You will make a firm and insurance choice, as I've said. Your firm choice should be the first choice option if you meet the conditions. All right, so that's really, really important. This is where you want to go. You guys should be attending applicant visit days, attending applicant webinars over the course of the next couple of months to really firm up your decisions in this matter. Take this process seriously, guys. You need to be doing your research and digging in, asking questions. What's it like to be a student here? What can they offer me in terms of career development opportunities? What's it like beyond the regular kind of class time that you'll be having. All right. Here is the really, really important thing. Your insurance choice should have lower conditions attached to it than your firm choice. You do not get to choose on results day. So if your firm choice is 35 and 665, your insurance choice needs to be below that, maybe 34 and 555, or 32 and 554. Whatever that might be. There is no point having an insurance choice that is higher than your firm choice, because you don't get to choose on results day. All right. If you meet the conditions of your firm choice, that is where you are going. If you don't meet the conditions of your firm choice, technically confirmed by your insurance choice, provided you meet those conditions as well. So it's really, really important. Our firm choice should be where we want to go, first choice, and insurance should have lower IB or AP requirements than your firm choice. Otherwise, there's no point having it. All right. Sometimes what happens on results day is that they might ask you to hold a little bit. Okay, they might want to wait for A-level results to come in if you've just missed the conditions of your offer. So even if your offer was, say, 36 and 666, you end up with 36 and 665, they might still confirm you, but they just might keep you hanging on for a few weeks until A-level results day, which is usually in mid-August, because they want to make sure that, of the number of people who have missed their grades. All right, so all is not always lost if you don't quite meet the firm choice options. It really depends on the university. Come and chat to us a bit more about that, because we have some historical knowledge on which universities are more flexible on results day and which aren't. Okay. So just a couple of points, on firm and insurance choices. This is about your heart as much as it is your head, where you feel that you're going to fit, where you feel that you're going to be most successful. Okay. Do think about your insurance carefully, though. All right. If you do have unconditional offers, don't be starstruck by that. It might not be the best place for you, so do think about things, be strategic, and like I said, do your research. And as I say, if you've not had your offers yet, you're still in the game, please don't be disheartened. It's just a waiting game. They will come. Okay. You're going to make, when you have all your 5 decisions come through, you'll have a screen that looks like this, and you will click Make This My Firm Choice. Once you've made a firm choice, it will change to Make This My Insurance Choice. You can make all of your choices on UCAS Track. And again, June 8th is the deadline for that. Running swiftly on, you will automatically decline any other offers you have once you have made your firm and your insurance choice. Okay, so it's really, really important to recognize that. You don't have to do it yourself, it will just something that happens automatically. So your first choice will be the place you really want to go, your firm. Your insurance is a backup with lower entry requirements, lower conditions attached. All right, and then the others will automatically decline for you. Talked a bit about that. Briefly on extra, if you maybe don't have any offers, you've had 5 unsuccessful decisions, or you don't like any of the options that you've had, maybe you've had a change of heart, you can decline them and go into what we call extra. This is where you apply to individual courses that are still available and still accepting applications, and you apply for them one at a time until you receive a decision. If you're interested in looking at extra, if you're considering extra, please come and book a meeting and come and talk to your college counsellor. We can help you through that process. You can also, in July, on the 1st or 2nd of July, you'll be able to see what courses are available in clearing in case you do not meet the conditions of your firm or your insurance offer. Again, we can talk to you about clearing, and we will run a little bit of a workshop on this later on down the line as well. We've talked briefly about UCAS Extra. If you've been unsuccessful or you've declined your offers that you have, you will be able to apply one by one to any remaining courses that are still open that interest you. Again, just a quick date reminder. Universities will have until 18th of May to make all decisions. You have until 8th of June to reply to your offers by making your firm and your insurance choice. If you are interested in extra, you have to be done with that by 4th of July. Clearing will open on the 5th. Results day is on or around the 5th or 6th of July. So you should, certainly for IB anyway, so clearing opens around the time of IB results day. Okay, and you have until typically the end of August or early September to meet the conditions of your offers, all right, of your firm choice. Typically, most UK fee payers do not have to pay a tuition fee deposit. If you're an international fee payer, then they may be asking for a tuition fee deposit after you've made them your firm choice. This can range anywhere between £500 to potentially over £1,000, and of course that comes off your deposit. There is no deadline for this. You don't have to do this typically until the end of July or the end of August, but it's really important to keep that in mind. Again, UK-based fee payers, people paying UK fees, so $9,250 a year, do not and are never asked for a tuition fee deposit. If in some instances you're an international fee payer, you may be asked for this deposit before they release what's called a CAS, Confirmation of Acceptance to Studies. That's when you can apply for your visa. So please check your emails, make sure you're on top of anything that these UK universities require of you. Briefly on accommodation, they will be starting to email you information about accommodation. I'm sure some of you already have this. Typically there is an accommodation guarantee at most universities, not all but most, and they ask you to apply for this accommodation before usually sometime in June or July or August. Okay. Each university does this slightly different. Okay, some will be pressuring you already. They really shouldn't be. But trust me, there is always enough accommodation available later on, because firm and insurance decisions aren't being made until the 8th of June. So if you're sure you know where you want to be going and you're ready to put down some accommodation applications, then by all means please do. Generally accommodation is done somewhere between April through June, but follow each university's information carefully, and if you feel that you're being pressured, then come and speak to us and we can work around things, and there might be other options available. Okay.
And now on to those students that have applied to the US. So here you can see a applicant timeline. So currently we're in the January to March section, where you can see that we are waiting for our applicants' decisions to come through. Some of you have your decisions already, that's great, but if you were to see the next item, you can see that colleges will have until April the 1st to release their decisions. It's a good time to think about visits once you know whether or not you're in or not to colleges that you have been accepted into. So Easter's a good time for this. Do think ahead with one or two possibilities if you are in and around the area of the place that you've applied to. Do attend admitted student events when it's possible as well, please, guys. Do spend some time between March to April time and in April to evaluate financial aid packages and scholarship offerings. Figure out how to pay for college is essential. There's no point in going and accepting a really nice offer and then later on realising, oh, you know what, I can't pay for it. These decisions and this kind of research needs to be done before you pay your deposit. You will need to enrol and submit a deposit by May the 1st. In May, you'll be taking your exams, talking to college counsellors about your decisions, scholarship opportunities. If you've been waitlisted, you can send I'd like to stay on the waitlist form or a letter of continued interest. The email to your admissions rep stating that you're still interested, or if there are any updates to your application, such as achievements, awards, and other activities you've been doing, could be included in that letter. You can sign up for campus housing if you plan to live on campus, and you could be starting on working on your I-20 certificate. If you are a non-US citizen, you'll need an F1 visa. In order to get your F1 visa moving forwards, you need to complete an I-20 certificate, which we'll talk about more in a bit, as well as thinking about health insurance. So, in June to August, here's a list of all the things that you could consider doing when you are waiting for the first day of your new life. Save for college, check your emails, orientation sessions, and you can see the list there. I'll just give you a second to scan through. So making decisions. It's important to understand that when you're accepted, it's an unconditional offer, but you are expected to maintain your grades at a similar level. All right? So it can be rescinded. It's not very common, but it can be rescinded. Once you accept, you are pretty much committed to go and to start with your visa applications. And with Canadian applicants, it will state on your offer letter as to how the offer is given. Do look at the specifics for Canadian universities, and that will come to you in the form of an email or a letter or both. So, acceptance US colleges. Most universities have a letter or online form for you to accept your place, and you'll be asked to pay a deposit to confirm that place. It's usually somewhere between 100 to up to $1,000 US. So it's not insignificant. Then the universities will issue you an I-20, which is a certificate of eligibility for non-immigrant student status. You'll need that to apply for that F1 visa, as I've mentioned before. Okay, this is obviously for non-US citizens. They will send you information on accommodation as well in your emails. It's important that you do decline offers where you are deciding not to accept and to matriculate to. So that means opening up more spaces for other poor students that are sitting on a wait list. Okay, so as you know, it's so competitive, it's just the right thing to do. So some colleges will have specific instructions for how to decline your admission. Follow those instructions. You might be filling out a form, for example. Check websites for your acceptance letters to see whether or not they need anything in particular as well. So let's talk about this deposit. It's asked to secure your place, often before you receive other decisions. Best for you to be as informed as you can with all the other decisions that come in for that April the 1st. But you need to make sure that you are getting that deposit in before the 1st of May. As we've said, it can range between $100 to $1,000. The majority will be somewhere between $100 to $250. Some more expensive private institutions may go up to $1,000. Read all the information very carefully on the letters, please. Sometimes extensions can be granted, but not always. It's quite rare. Okay? Look out for admitted student days as well before you pay, just so you are sure. Here's an example of something you may see on the portal for when you are accepted to a particular university. On the right-hand side, you can see that I've highlighted the deposit deadline. It will tell you when the deadline is due. And the bottom left, you can see that we have a tuition deposit button to click to then pay for $150. Also, some more details about the tuition deposit and housing deposit can also be found there. So you can see that I've highlighted or underlined that information. So accommodation. There are three main types of accommodation that you can have in the US. On-campus dormitories, off-campus apartments, homestays. In your first year, you really want to be looking at an on-campus accommodation. Once you're enrolled in the US, they'll send a pre-departure orientation packet, and that will include where to live options. Now, some places, some schools don't actually have on-campus accommodations for their international students. If this is the case, there will be somebody that will assist you. So information will go out to assist you on where and how to secure accommodation elsewhere. Some universities will require all their freshmen to live on the campus as well. So do please read through that. So it depends on whether or not they will have on-campus accommodation according to where you apply. The cost for a year is somewhere roughly between $9,500 US dollars to $11,000 US dollars per year. Just so you're aware, often some people overlook this cost. Sometimes the cost may be included as well. Do check. Accommodation booking can happen before or after an acceptance. The big rule here is check your emails. And here we've got a couple more slides here for you to pause the video at a later date and to look through, to read through about finances in the US. Another slide. Remember to pause this. And the final slides there. Before I go, one final reminder to everybody. Update your BridgeU. Very, very simple. Please do this. And on the 19th of April, we will have a what to do when your IB and AP results come through. And please don't forget to scan this QR code and join the ACS alumni community. Thanks, folks. Enjoy your next lesson.